So nearly 3,000 years ago, a story was born.
A story of war. And of one man's journey for home. Odysseus and his men first arrive at a strange island, where they're offered a strange lotus fruit. This makes them want to stay and forget about their journey home. Odysseus realises this and has to drag his men back to the boats before the island traps them forever. As they enter the next island, they find all the food they need. Sheep roaming around and cheeses stacked high to the ceiling. But when the owner returns, Odysseus asks for hospitality. Instead, his men are devoured and he can only look on in horror. The giant rolls a huge boulder across the entrance, trapping his men. Odysseus knows that he cannot move the boulder, so he has to think of a new plan. He pours strong wine and offers it to the giant, who asks, "Who are you?" "Nobody," says Odysseus. And as the giant Cyclops slept, the men fashioned a huge burning stake and drove it into his single eye. Eventually, Odysseus and his men were able to escape. In a moment of arrogance, Odysseus shouts to the giant, "If anyone asks you who blinded you, tell them it was Odysseus." Knowing his name, the giant calls out, "Father, hear me. Odysseus has blinded me."
Thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to do a little bit of a bonus section here. So in Homer's story and in Christopher Nolan's film, why is the story so compelling? The reason is, with so many good stories, there's actually a lot of hidden meaning and lessons for us as humans. Firstly, we come to the island of the Lotus Eaters. Now on the surface, this is about men eating an intoxicating fruit which stops them from remembering about returning home. The deeper meaning here is that pleasure can be a distraction if we allow it to be. And while the story is 3,000 years old, the lotus could be very much a metaphor for modern social media. Something that feels pleasurable in the moment can steal away our time from much more important projects. Next, they come to the island of the Cyclops. When they discover the cave, the men want to take the cheese and the sheep away, but Odysseus wants to stay and asks the owner for hospitality. When Polyphemus returns, he instead eats two of the men and rolls a huge boulder across the entrance, so the men are trapped. So Odysseus realises he can't move the boulder, so he has to use a different strategy, and in this case it's brain over brawn. So he pours strong wine and feeds it to the giant, and when the Cyclops asks him his name, he says nobody. Once Polyphemus falls asleep, Odysseus and his men take a red hot sharp stake and they drive it into his single eye. When Polyphemus screams, all the other Cyclops come and ask who's attacking him, and his answer is nobody, so they leave him alone. Eventually, Odysseus managed to escape the cave with his men. But as he does so and he sails away, he arrogantly, or as the Greeks called it, with hubris, shouts his real name to the giant. And as he does so, now he knows his real name, the Cyclops calls to his father, none other than Poseidon, to take vengeance on Odysseus. And in that moment we see that whilst Odysseus' intelligence saves him, his ego is his downfall. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you really soon.